Hello, very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss the question which was asked for the Real IELTS exam on 4th of July 2022. This is an opinion question. Now the question goes like this. Although it is generally illegal, physical punishment continues in many countries. Some argue that parents should have the right to punish their children in this way. Do you agree or disagree? Now we do have the statement parts, two sentences. The first sentence goes like this. It is illegal to punish children in, it is illegal to award physical punishment to children in many countries. The second sentence, it said that parents should have the right to punish their children. So we do have the one is a fact that the first sentence is a fact that in many countries physical punishment is illegal, and you can see the fact is that despite it's illegal, many countries practice the corporal punishments, that's physical punishments. So there exists an argument whether those who support the physical punishment, they have an opinion that parents should have the right to give their children physical punishment. Do you agree or disagree? Now let's go ahead with the first particular paragraph, that's the introduction. Despite the fact that corporal punishment is illegal in many countries, it is argued that parents should have the right to practice it. Yes, to practice it to discipline their children. So I don't need this part. So excluding in some exceptional cases, I tend to agree to the statement. So we do have some exceptional cases where parents should not be allowed to punish their children physically. So we do have some exceptional cases. Apart from that, I tend to agree to the statement. Now, the primary reasons why I support. So we have two reasons, maybe two or three. The primary reasons why I support the view is because of the increased duration of time spent between the parents and children and the strong emotional bond in between them. So we do have two things here. One is the duration of the time spent between the child and his parent. The second thing is the emotional attachment between the child and the parent. So this is what we have to understand. The reason why I support physical punishments can be awarded to children by their parents. Now, how this can be justified? To be precise, a child can be observed better by his parent rather than anyone else. So because of the increased duration of time, a child can be observed better by his parent rather than anyone. And this time is most appropriate to rectify his mistake. And this time is most appropriate to rectify, because the longer duration of time, so this is the time they get, this is the most appropriate time. So they have some problems, if they have some problems, so this can be rectified at the time they spend with their parents, because they have increased duration of time with parents than anyone else. Even if parents award physical punishment to their children, they can easily bridge the emotional gap created because of the strong bond in between. So we have a strong bond between, strong emotional bond between the child and the parent. So even if the parent is punishing the child physically, that can be bridged. So that won't be a problem. So because of the emotional attachment between the child and the parent. So this is what we have said. Two reasons: because we have increased the duration of time we spend with our children, and we have an emotional attachment with our children, so that even if we give the punishment, it won't be adverse. So that's what we have seen in the first particular sentence, first particular paragraph. Now, moving further, today's children are often agile and undisciplined. You can see that. Today's children are often agile and undisciplined. We do have children very agile today, these days. You have an increased number of children with discipline, with the lack of discipline. Advices and motivations would hardly discipline them in many circumstances, and therefore corporal punishments become inevitable. Now, the situations arises where corporal punishments become inevitable because now the other measures fail, advices fail. We have mm, uh, you know we have motivations, we have parents can be role model, all these things we cannot, we have adopt a lot of things, all these things would fail in many circumstances. Above all, parents are usually held responsible for the misdeeds of their children, and naturally it becomes their duty to discipline their children in the best possible manner. Now, parents are usually held responsible for the mistakes. So, that the parents advise the children, parents motivate their children, they fail often. So, it becomes necessary to give them corporal punishment. After all, you can see people blaming the parents if their children behave bad in the society. But this also makes parents more responsible in disciplining the children, and they have to discipline the children in the best possible manner. The best possible manner here, it is the extreme. So that's understood there. So corporal punishment becomes necessary in such cases. You have five situations here. The first situation is the increased duration of time the child spend with the parents, and the emotional attachment. So these two are the first factors we have discussed in the first paragraph. The second particular paragraph, we have seen that we have the situation where other measures won't be proper. I mean, motivations, I mean, advices won't be proper. So in such cases, it's inevitable to practice corporal punishment. And towards the last, we can see that parents are blamed for the misdeeds of their children. So this also makes it inevitable to practice mm, corporal punishment. So I admit this is the exceptional paragraph. I admit There are circumstances when children are awarded physical punishments without taking into account their age and emotional maturity seriously. So we can give corporal punishments, but we need to take into account the age of the child. We need to take into account the emotional maturity of the child, whether it is bearable by the child or not. So, what type of corporal punishment? When it has to be given? To whom it has to be given? So, there are circumstances. We need to consider the age of the child. We need to consider the emotional maturity of the child. In some cases, it even turns out to be abuse. Now, child abuse. Now, certain parents abuse their child, their children. So, in such circumstances, parents should not be given the right. Now, that stepfathers, stepmothers are abusing children. You can see a lot of examples there. So, the results are increased cases of dropouts. You can see the poor performance at school, depression, and other serious emotional disturbances like aggression, and antisocial behavior. We do have a lot of negative effects there. If you not consider the age and the emotional maturity of the child and decide what type of corporal punishment is to be given or whether it should not be given. So we need to take in account, if you are not taking into account of these two factors, the results will be adverse. You have antisocial behavior, aggression, emotional disturbances, dropouts, depression, have a lot of emotional problems and other problems. So to conclude, though there are circumstances in which corporal punishment should not be practiced, in most circumstances, it's justifiable to give such rights to parents. Now, we have exceptional circumstances in which corporal punishment should not be practiced. But in most circumstances, it is justifiable to give such rights to parents. So that is the end of the explanation. We have to see the word count. It's not actually 255. It's 252 right now. So we have written the essay, three body paragraphs, two paragraphs to support the punishment, one paragraph to oppose the punishment. We do have a small introduction and a small conclusion. Okay, so hope you must have understood the way which we write an opinion question. Thank you.